Eliza Schuyler.
Angelica Schuyler. We're the Schuyler sisters, and this is how we lived in 1793.
By Anna Adams and Emerson Farber. What we wore. We would wear cotton, Indian print, and lawn. Gowns, skin-colored tights, and feathers were very popular back then. Kids basically wore smaller versions of what their parents wore. Men wore waistcoats, stockings, breeches, a coat, a cravat, and a tricorn hat.
What we ate. Usually we had 3 meals a day. For breakfast, we would have bread or sometimes cornmeal mush with milk or the occasional tea. For lunch, we would have some dinner food and sometimes even some breakfast food. Our biggest meal was dinner, usually occurring in the midday or mid-afternoon, which consisted of 1 or 2 meats, vegetables, and my personal favorite, dessert. Either our parents or maids would shop for us in the market, but sometimes we would sneak into the market to see all the different people and shops.
Yellow fever. Although we didn't live in Philadelphia, we still were affected by yellow fever. Not us personally, but my husband, Alexander Hamilton, caught yellow fever. Luckily, he was saved by the outstanding doctor, Edward Stevens, who was Alexander's boyhood friend. Good thing he got better because 5,000 people died. Yellow fever is a widespread disease that came from South America and Africa and is carried by mosquitoes.
Here's more facts about yellow fever. Doctors, hospitals, and townfolks help the infected get better. There are no known treatments yet, but there are actions to help you get better. You need to rest, maintain your blood pressure, get lots of oxygen, drink lots of fluids, and use some pain relievers that doctors might prescribe. Wine, bark, the action of bleeding out the disease, and cold baths were also treatments, although some didn't really work. Now there are vaccinations, but back then anyone could get yellow fever. However, your odds of getting it lowered if you wore clothing to prevent mosquito bites.
American versus French doctors. The American way of treating yellow fever was by bloodletting and purging. The French way of treating yellow fever was by only bloodletting a small bit, and medicine was used. The French also used blisters, hot bricks, and opium to help. It turns out that the French doctors were right.
Here are our jobs.
I, Eliza, worked as a philanthropist, which means I gave up time and money to help charity.
I, Angelica, met with famous people such as Benjamin Franklin to talk about important topics with my wealthy husband. Besides that, I did not have a job. However, the most common jobs were agriculture and farming. A lot of people also worked at family businesses. We didn't live in Philadelphia, like we said earlier, but we were pretty close. We lived in New York as children, then I moved away to London, then to Paris, and then I came back to New York, the greatest city in the world.
Last but not least, our day-to-day life. We didn't live in Philly, but I asked my husband what day-to-day life was like there, and he said it was a large town with many markets and a lot of family-owned businesses and restaurants. Some benefits of living there was that you could walk to every market. A disadvantage was that the diseases were almost impossible to escape, since they spread faster than a wildfire in California. Most people struggled to escape them. After diseases spread, people died a lot, and bodies were laid all over the streets. With a population of approximately 55,000 people in 1793, Philadelphia was America's largest city, its capital and its business port. The summer of that year was unusually dry and hot. In 1793, people usually staged plays, like Shakespeare remakes. We also had musical concerts with classical music. We also enjoyed poetry readings.
Thanks for watching.
We hope you enjoyed our presentation about 1793.